couple things. Sorry for the delay. It's one of the greatest moments of my life, honestly. Number one. Number two, couldn't be more proud of our team. I think that exemplifies the talent on this roster, but more importantly, the character and the people. And as I look to my left, I just see three great players that are better people than they are players. The best pitched college baseball game I have ever seen from both sides. Obviously, what Paul did was spectacular. What Thatcher did was spectacular. You might see four pitchers that were on that mound tonight from both teams that will pitch in Major League Baseball All-Star games. And hat tip to Coach Walter and Wake Forest. I mean, we just slayed a giant tonight, and that was special. And lastly, look to my left. If you're one of the best players in the transfer portal, there's only one place to come play, because last summer I spent a lot of time with these young men, and I think they would tell you they made the right choice. So I'd want to join forces with them if they're out there.
Okay, Jay. First of all, we'll have questions to the student athletes. Once again, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, and we'll start here with Michael. Saw him first.
Tommy, earlier the week you told us that you weren't freaking out. Yeah, everybody's freaking out on the internet, I think is what you said. But how confident were you despite the struggles here in Omaha?
I'm always confident in the box. That's just how I play the game. I don't think I was struggling, but I thought I was doing all right.
You're not.
But, I was super confident, just doing my deal. That's about it.
Okay, right here.
Leif Skotnick, World Baseball Network. Tommy, can you just take us through the pitch, what you were looking for and how you prepped for that at bat?
Yeah, so I was definitely going for heater. I thought a heater was coming, but I was very amped up, and I saw a slider that was up, and I could get my bat head to it, so that was about it.
Okay, Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Paul, I think a lot of people probably agree with Jay here that this was one of the greatest baseball games that we've seen here in a long time. To be right in the middle of that, to be on the mound, against Louder, this kind of epic duel. How do you kind of describe the whole experience of it?
To be honest, I think it might have been cooler for the people in the stands than it was for me, just because all it comes down to is just executing. I didn't watch a whole lot of Louder's outing. Obviously, he did really well, executed really well, but just comes down to slowing the game down and going out there and executing.
Okay, go here to Leah.
Leah Van, Baton Rouge Advocate. Paul, you come in on probably your shortest amount of rest you've had all season, and I'm just wondering, what did the conversation about starting today look like? Was there ever any doubt? And just how did you feel about coming out for a second appearance at the College World Series?
There was no doubt. I know, our strength coach is Wes. I knew everyone was going to do everything in their power to get me ready. Everyone's going to get everyone else on the staff ready to pitch, 2 or 3 more times for the bullpen arms. But there was no doubt in my mind. And to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation.
Okay.
Mike Farrar with Bird Sports Network. Paul, can you kind of describe about, I don't know if you saw on the Jumbotron that you broke the SEC and the LSU strikeout record. Could you describe what that moment is like for you?
I've gotten to talk with Ben a lot, and he called a lot of our games. Obviously, he had a really good career at LSU and in the major leagues. It's cool, and it's cool to leave a legacy.
Okay, Michael.
This is for Paul and for Tommy. I guess just you guys saw the bunt coming, but Trey being able to make the play that he did with the quickness and fluidity that he did. From your perspective, what do you guys think of that?
Paul, you start.
I think he showed everyone in the country that he's the most athletic first baseman out there. To be honest, I saw him lay the bunt down, and Trey kind of just came flying in and made the play and picked me up.
Tommy.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the bunt, the angle of the bat, I knew it was going to first, and I didn't see Trey. I was like, oh, God, they're going to score. And then he came flying out of nowhere, and Milazzo put a great tag on, so that was pretty awesome.
Over here.
Yeah, Patrick, Glenn Wesco, 247. When you're watching a pitcher's duel like that through 8 innings, and then you come out and you have to go, 9, 10, 11 to just kind of keep that up. I mean, just what kind of mentality goes into that? And Paul, I guess, could speak to that too. Just getting those final 9 outs there to kind of give your offense the time to win it.
Yeah, I mean, like Coach says all the time, it's just all about execution. And I was going to do anything to get that win out for us. I wasn't going to let us down.
Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I was with him between innings. Super level-headed, and he knew that it just came down to what he went out there and did, or what he was going to go out there and do. If you keep it simple and make it about executing, it's a really simple game.
Okay, Matt?
Matt Arenas, white and blue review for Thatcher. Brock Wilken up with 2 runners on, big spot. What'd you go through mentally, and what'd you do to execute to get out of that situation?
I was going to go at the strike zone, trust my defense, throw everything with full conviction.
Okay, Michael?
For Paul and Tommy, this was a goal to get to this spot right now. And talking to the guys on the field, they said a lot of it is, this wasn't the end goal kind of thing. Just your thoughts on now being in the title series and what's ahead.
Paul?
Yeah, the whole year we knew we could do it. And that was the primary goal when we had a meeting like January 14th or something like that. And the goal, for this season was to win a national championship. And, everything along the way would be a bonus. This was, what we've had our eyes on all year. And it's really cool to be here now.
Tommy?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. But yeah, it's just going to come down to execution, just playing the game one pitch at a time. We know what to do. We know what we got to do. And we're just going to play our game, hope for the best.
You got Mike Farron back here.
Mike Farron, Sirius XM. Tommy, after the celebration, you went and embraced, I think, Camden Manasseh. I know you guys were close. Why was that important for you to do? And a number of your teammates started doing that with Wake players. Why was that important tonight? I
mean, their season's over. It's a very hard time. They had high expectations coming into this, and they played great. But I've known Camden and Bennett Lee for quite some time now. We're all from Tampa, and yeah, he's I played with him, against him, growing up my whole life, and yeah, I mean, he's one of my close friends. So I didn't want him to feel anything. I just wanted to make sure he was all right.
Okay, we'll go to Leah for the last question for the players.
Tommy, y'all face a tough pitcher in Rhett Lauder tonight. Seeing him this entire night, what was difficult about hitting against him?
Yeah, he executed every pitch. He threw all pitches for strikes, and he worked fast. Yeah, he pitched great, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you. Remind you that we'll have LSU back here tomorrow morning. Our Florida part of the news conference will start at 11. About 11:20, 11:25, we'll have both coaches here for photo op, and then LSU news conference will follow that tomorrow morning with Jay and players to be named. So, first question for Jay, and we'll go back here with Matt, and then.
Yeah, Jay, you've been a part of some really memorable ones. You've won a national championship. What about tonight differentiates it in terms of how special you feel it was?
Yeah, I'll correct you. I have not won a national championship. That's okay. I lost a heartbreaker, 2 one-run games in the finals. But yeah, I'd like to try this thing through the winner's bracket one time. That's pretty special. I mean, I was not over-exaggerating. That is one of the greatest moments of my entire life, what happened on that field tonight.
Okay, back here.
Jay, Wilson here from The Advocate. In all the plays that were in this game that were so close, how much, when you think back on this maybe years from now, are you going to remember Trey Morgan crashing and flipping that ball to Alex Milazzo?
Yeah, we work on it all the time, and I'll tell you, it was a big benefit who we played to get to this point. When you look at Tulane, you look at Oregon State, you look at Kentucky, that's 3 of the best bunting teams in the country, and both going into the regional and the super regional, we spent a large amount of time on bunt coverages to both sides, safety squeeze defense, And we've finally been able to get him back over to first base here, in the postseason, because he's healthy enough to do it. And what a play. I mean, nobody's played better in this World Series than Trey, and hasn't been a bigger play in this World Series than that bunt play.
Okay, Michael.
I saw you smirk when they asked you about Paul getting the ball today. Just kind of elaborate, I guess, a little bit more on the no conversation.
Yeah, so it was pretty simple. We lost a very good baseball game on Monday night. That was high-level stuff. I mean, if you rolled that out at Fenway Park or Yankee Stadium and you put big league uniforms on both teams, you probably wouldn't know the difference. That was a tough loss. And when you're in that 2-0 game or 1-0 game, everybody knows the importance of it, only having to win 1 versus to win 3. That was a heartbreaker. We played good against another good pitcher. Hartle's one of the best pitchers I've seen in a long time. And so I felt like they just needed to be reminded of, we definitely can do this. 2 things. I mean, my team in 2016 did it, and LSU did it in 2017. So we weren't, doing something that was going to be unprecedented. So you start there. And then the pregame speech to Tuesday was a really simple speech on the whiteboard in our meeting room. I just wrote out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And on Tuesday, I wrote Nate's name down with 8 other pitchers. And then we just drew lines over to Wednesday. It was going to be somebody in that grouping of 9. Thursday, I wrote down Skenes, Hurd. I wrote down Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, 1 game, this team to win the national title. I looked at it and goes, anybody got any questions whether we can do this or not? Great, let's get on the bus. And that was basically the announcement that Paul would pitch today.
Okay, over here. Okay.
Clint Yates, ESPN. Getting back to Trey, can you talk a little bit more about his development overall and what it was like for him dealing with the outfield when that injury situation was what it was before he got back?
Yeah, he's a special competitor. I mean, he's meant so much to our team these last couple years. And when it matters the most, that's when you get the best. And we've seen that the whole NCAA tournament, regional, super regional, for sure. And then here in Omaha, the situation is never bigger than his plan. His competitive nature is spectacular. Then you add that with elite hand-eye, bat-to-ball skills, defensive versatility to play first base, athleticism to go to the outfield. There's not many guys that have all that skill set. And there'll be a professional team when this is all said and done that will have a talent that's also a winner that can do pretty much anything.
Okay, next question for Jay. Michael.
Same question I asked the guys about just this being the goal but not done kind of thing. From your mindset now, you've wanted it so bad for these guys, and now they're in the title series.
Yeah, I think I haven't thought a lot about that just yet. We immerse ourselves in the present moment. I mean, going into the NCAA tournament, we talked about this team's had to deal with a lot of this thought of they're perfect because of their talent and their expectations. And, John Wooden used to say, winning is just about playing near your capability all the time. And I think we really settled in. We haven't tried to do too much, and we've really stayed in the moment. I think that was exhibited really well, which is why, Paul pitched the first game of the NCAA tournament. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that, and then you don't lead with your ace against a team that was playing its best baseball. And so that was done for that reason. And so I just think we've been so immersed in that now that this is here, it's not a surprise. And I will tell you, this is the first team that I've ever coached that I believe could win a national championship, hands down. And so in that meeting that Paul was referencing to, what do you want to do? Like literally me asking them, what do you want to accomplish? And it was kind of quiet. And I was like, no, okay, we want a national championship. Came out of Dylan's mouth. Are you sure? And then it's quiet. No, wait a minute. We got to be really sure if this is what we're going to try to go do. And then, so we put it up there, and it's just basically our road to the top. And then it wasn't about doing that. Now it was about how are we going to do it? Every step along the way, both within the program and controllable things of, are we going to be selfless? Are we going to have a strong mental game where we can recover from failure, resist the urge to be complacent, and then it's into the baseball stuff because the game doesn't change of what's required. And then we outline the things from the mound, defensively, offensively, from the bases that we felt like would be required to attain that long-term goal, and laid it all out. And these guys have stuck to it every single day.
Okay, Leah, this will be our last question for this session.
I mean, obviously we had the star-studded matchup with Paul and Rhett Lauder, but what do you have to say about Thatcher and the decision to leave him in the game, when you had a couple of guys warming up in the bullpen in late innings?
Well, we didn't have anybody warming up. We had Gavin playing light toss. You're talking about leaving Thatcher in, I'm guessing? Yeah. That is one of the best college teams I've seen in a long time. I mean, not just this year. They had one of the most remarkable seasons I've ever seen. But that pitching staff, in my opinion, has 7 guys that will pitch in the major league someday. 7. I mean, that's a lot. And they're really, really hard to deal with. There was a funnel of pitchers that were going to be available today. And, we wanted to get Paul as long as we could. I'm really proud of him for getting us through 8. I think it took that to win the game, honestly. And then there was only one guy that was going to get the ball after that. And we would have used him to close the game last night if we needed to. I didn't want to do that because I knew he would be needed today, and it gave him an extra day after Monday. And he was spectacular. I think there was one walk, and there was only one 3-ball count the entire time he was on the mound.
Jay, thank you. We'll see you in the morning.
We'll see you in the morning.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.